A very good morning. It's Mark here. Wednesday, May the 21st, 7:40 Eastern. That's 11:40 GMT. US session about to get underway and going into the afternoon portion of the European session. Let's see how the markets stand going into the US Open. And it's become a familiar pattern going into the US session, seeing weak US dollar being sold off. Bear in mind, a couple of days ago, we did have a fight back. You can see the wicket left behind. Yesterday, continued throughout the day. So far today, sell-off you can see from an open of 99.80 right down to support at 99.28. However, it has fought back somewhat and sitting at 99.51. So we are faced with what we've been faced with over the past few days to see whether this US dollar sell-off continues through the US session, or if we get a turnaround and we need some levels to work with. There you can see US dollar sell-off down to 99.26. There's the bounce up, a green candlestick right now in this hour candle. The US dollar seeing if it can recover, fight back, come up to the 99.83 resistance. Alternative sellers are going to continue and come back below or test the 99.26 support area. Let's have a look at the S&P. In pre-market conditions, we can see EMAs have almost crossed over to the downside after yesterday stalling in the last 3 days, stalling at that resistance level, has come down today, and so far support at 5,900. I've got resistance at 5,954. Again, once Wall Street opens up and the US session is underway, we'll see whether this can be maintained, whether sellers are going to continue add to these to the sell-off, to these losses. Alternatively, if there is a turnaround once Wall Street gets open, and that's in an hour 45 minutes, we'll keep an eye and watch how that progresses. Gold. Third consecutive day of gold rallying, inverse relationship, weak US dollar, and we're seeing strong gold. EMAs have crossed over from yesterday's push higher, and today moving up as well from a support at 3,284 and resistance 3,325 has broken above that 3,300 level. We'll see if buyers maintain, can get a test and break above today's resistance. Alternatively, if sellers enter the market and come back down and test the 3,284, could well depend on the performance of the US dollar, and we'll see how that how the relationship between the two plays out once the US session gets underway. So far, inverse relationship playing out. We've seen weak US dollar to start. We're seeing strong gold to start the day. Let's have a look at oil. Brent oil gapped higher to start, but has come down since then. Closed yesterday at just under the $65 and then gapped up to open at 65.58. Went as high to set resistance at 65.93. Right now sitting at that 65.23 level. We'll see how this plays out during the US session. Red candlesticks are down for the day. However, higher high and higher low because of that gap up. But let's see how that plays out as the US session gets underway. Bitcoin had a strong day yesterday, uptrend in place today. Went as high as 108,000, very close to that all-time 109,000 high. Been sold off since then, you can see, and sitting roughly where it closed yesterday at the 107 level. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see how There's the high close to the 108,000, has come down since then. Support right now at 106,153, and you can see buyers have stepped in at the support and will be looking to firstly the 107,000, perhaps come up and test or higher than yesterday's 108,000. Good trading, and I will keep you posted and see you at the end of day session.